Yeah, I mean, another big question, since you got a second in standard and you got third in premium, that means you have an invite for both the standard format and the premium format, which I think you're the first one to do that, at least for this year's BCS circuit. What's your thought process here?
I will now proceed to stack the deck.
Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with the top player at BCS Mexico, in my opinion, Bowen in Tex Baowow. Yeah, tell us how you did last weekend.
I mean, I didn't do too hot. I came second in standard, which was a surprise. But I also came third in premium.
Crazy.
So I had my world's invite for both of them.
That's not hot.
I could have done a little bit better.
I know you're super strong in premium. This is the guy that kind of coached me for Worlds. He also topped the BSF Toronto.
Yeah, so last top I had was a BSF Toronto. Third place as well, using the same deck, just slightly different build.
How did you get into Vanguard in the first place?
I got back into Vanguard in 2019, but I started Vanguard back when Limit Break Hokkaido first came out.
Wow.
So this was like way back in the day. My brother was looking on Facebook because he was very interested in Vanguard, and got dragged into the Vanguard community at Heartluru by Ryan. You guys would know him as the BCS 2024 fourth place at Toronto. And yeah, my brother was like, hey, I'll get you a deck. And he bought me Hokkaido, and I've been stuck with Grand Blue ever since.
So is he the one we have to blame for all the BS you come up with?
Yes, my brother is definitely the cause of all of this.
How are you feeling with the state of the game with standard and premium, or Vanguard in general?
So I'm going to start off with premium because, again, I am mainly a premium player. I think that premium right now is in a pretty terrible state, mostly because of all the loop decks. I understand that I myself am playing a loop deck.
You're part of the problem.
I am the problem, actually. But once we get through all of the loop decks, I think the format could use a little bit of readjusting, mainly because I think there are some clans that are just nigh unplayable in premium, and it does feel like pretty bad. For example, I know Aquaforce right now is in probably the worst state it's ever been in. One of the worst clans in premium. Kagero could really use some love. Even after all of the support it gets in standard from Overlord, it still doesn't have the ability to pivot that over into premium. And then similarly, Murakumo could use some love. I love Murakumo. Murakumo's great. It's a very fun pick of mine. However, I'm so sorry, it just dies to Hanali.
which is coincidentally a prize card right here. So
yeah. Standard I think is in a pretty healthy spot. I know people are like have their grievances with the Dragon Empire OT. Or OTs in general. However, I do think that there's a lot more skill expression now than there was back when D first started. And you can play through an overtrigger. You're able to actually account for the overtrigger in most scenarios. Even though I lost to one in the finals, spoiler alert, I still think that standard right now is in a pretty healthy spot.
I agree. I think with standard obviously getting more sets than premium, it's definitely changes much faster, and it gives the designers more opportunities to kind of adjust it. There's also more results, more events, just more data and insights to see if there's any problems or quick fixes. Premium is definitely more challenging. There are events in Japan, more so recently, but there's still not enough. And there are BCSs, but again, it's limited, right? But anyways, let's get to the main point of the video. Can you showcase the prizing you've gotten and talk us through your decks and all the goodies?
Yep, so first things first for our promo packs. I know people don't really care that much about promo packs, but hey, standard was a draw trigger, and then premium was the Persona Shield ticket.
As if you didn't win enough yet.
As I didn't. Well, I'm actually way more happy about the draw trigger than I am with the Persona Shield ticket. I don't play Keter Sanctuary. The only Keter deck I really play is Angel Feather. So draw trigger I'm way more happy about, even if I'm not going to play it.
It's a very cute one.
Afterwards, if we just slide these over, we'll bring over the top 32, which is the PG. Dragon Empire, perfect guard. Unfortunately, I don't play Dragon Empire, especially because this isn't a stealth fiend. But it is what it is.
It's cool that it has the hot stamp.
It does have the hot stamp, which is really nice. I think this year's hot stamp is extremely clean. Bushiroad, keep this format. It's great. I love it. But then we have the top cut prizing.
Oh, this is the big one.
This is the big one. This is the energy marker, which I have no use for. but it looks clean, and I'm kind of happy I got it.
Yeah. Can't say no to that.
Yeah. Afterwards, the top 4 card was the Elementary Sanctitude. Because we were, I believe this is A. So
yes.
we have access to the Cray-Elemental Elementary Sanctitude rather than the Akina one. This is very nice. I only realized when someone pointed out to me that we have the little Cray-Elementals triggers in the corners.
They existed in the normal print. They're there. I swear they're there.
I swear I don't look at the cards enough. We'll find out in the deck profile.
Yes.
But yeah, so this is really nice.
This is very pretty. I don't have this one. I wish I had this one.
You'll get it in Toronto, don't worry. And then for the premium side, unfortunately, we only got 2 cards. We have the Top Cut Honolulu, probably the strongest card in premium, in my opinion. It shuts off a lot of decks. There's a lot of combo decks that love to be able to play through Honolulu, but just cannot. For example, Victor, or for example, Aquaforce. Right, this card is just really strong, and I'm very glad that they're giving this as the top cut prize rather than the top 4 prize.
Yeah.
And then the top 4 prize is a very funny card. It's the Megaloma, or the Progenitor Dragon for Zoo.
Oh, it's so pretty.
This, I think, is the first time it's got a champion prizing. And, it's extremely clean. Card is still playable because Neo Nectar has to play this in their G-Zone.
Yeah.
As Katrina's back down to 1 now. And it just allows you to make some really, really funny plays by because it only returns the cards in your hand and your damage, you can remove all the normal units in your hand before you die to then effectively fill up your deck with triggers.
And then the mats, of course.
And then, here, we've got the top 8 mat, again with the Elementaria on it.
Nice.
Looks extremely clean. And sorry, I've got all my decks over here.
And then this is the Progenitor
Dragon.
Top 8, man. Wow. Damn. So for standard, you brought Heartluru?
So for standard, I brought Heartluru. I will not claim credit for this deck list. I believe his name was Brightstar on Twitter, Brightstar12365, or on Discord his name is Lobo. This is the Chicago first place player, I believe.
Yeah.
So I basically used the same list. Thank you, Kai, for sending me the list. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to see it. So we have our ride line here. Just the stock standard Heartluru ride line. The ride line's great. Shark is the best card in my deck, in my opinion. Not really, but I use this card way more than other people would. It's live when your opponent's not grade 3. It's very good at denying your opponent resources, which is something that is really important when playing this deck.
Yep.
And then, otherwise, we're starting off with very stock standard. 3 Heartlurus, so 3 Persona rides. You want to see it. If you don't, your turn's a lot weaker, but it's not the end of the world. But the extra soul helps a ton. We are playing 4 dragons. Again, this is your strongest attacker for most cases. The extra crit does make the second attack a lot scarier and thus requires your opponent to guard the attack. But the counterblast one to draw a card is very helpful to keep your hand size. And even if you draw a trigger, you're not very sad because shield value is extremely important when you're playing with like a 2 or 3 card hand. 4 copies of the bear. I don't like this card. Sorry, this card is taking the slot of the shark half the time, and I just can't get it to work. The battle door is kind of cute, but everyone playing Elementary Sanctitude, it's half the time it just gets PG'd by that.
Yeah.
It's really nice at getting you your order because you can, once you have it in hand, you can just discard it for ride, and then play the Fluffy to then add it back to hand. But you have to be extremely careful because Soul is a commodity in this deck. We play a single copy of Tizcar, not the Ace unit, but Tizcar. Because Tizcar is live at every point in the game except turn 1 going first.
Yes.
Every other point in the game, this card is live to get you an extra card in hand. And this is extremely important because the extra card in hand could draw you into a defensive card. It can draw you into Persona Ride. Maybe it finds you the order in hand, which happened to me one game. But more often than not, a 5k shield and a draw is really, really nice. My grievances with the Ace unit when I was first considering it was that half the time you would play it and then call on top of it. So it was effectively just a 5th copy of whatever card you wanted, which again is very nice, But with 0 shield in hand, you'd often be caught without any shield and die in the early game. While his card lets you at least guard the early game when your opponent tries to be greedy and only attack with 10Ks or 8Ks. We are playing Twincast. Card's amazing. Super nice too, because you can use it from drop zone. And this is searchable off the bunny, and then you soul blast it with a shark or the bear. Very helpful. So we're playing 3 Philia. This card's just the best early game card, active on turn 1 to turn 4. Sometimes active turn 5, your opponent has no board. Extra soul, extra card draw, 13k booster. This card is everything you'd ask for.
Yeah.
I would love to play a 4th copy if I decided to actually think about it and play a 4th copy. We are playing 3 normal PGs, and we are playing the 1 Elementary Sanctitude. Wherever my Sanctitude went.
See, I told you there's little dudes.
Oh, it does have it.
Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah. So 3-1, this is stock standard.
Yeah.
I was originally debating on not playing the Sanctitude. The card didn't feel that good, but I decided to stick with it just in case. It never came up. It was just another PG in hand, but always nice to have 4 PGs.
Yeah. Here's a quick question since we're at it.
Yep.
So when this set came to Japan, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of us actually played 4 normal PGs instead of the 3+1 that we're used to. Why do you think the West has still stuck with the tried and true Sank in the 4?
In our case, because we had more insight of the meta, we knew for a fact that Heartluru was going to be one of the best decks in the format. Elementary Sanctitude is a very good card for outing the bear. On turn 4, when they Persona Ride, a lot of people will stack crits onto the bear rather than the dragon, because the bear demands 2 cards out of their hand.
Right.
While Sanctitude would just, well, it's still 2 cards. It wouldn't be the 3 cards you would need if you used a normal PG, which is extremely important in this case. So we knew for a fact that the bear was coming. Yeah. Also, I do not understand why English absolutely loves Shiranui.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
Get that deck out of my sight. Elementary is a good stop to that.
Yeah.
So Elementary it feels a lot nicer to have it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I agree.
We have the worst card in the deck.
No, can't be true, bro. It's 10k shield for like the whole game.
I've used this block horse on the board like 3 games.
Really?
This card is awful. Don't get me wrong. Like early game, it's great, but it's only for the early game. Late game, you're basically never going to have it on the board, especially against decks like Baowow Sagra, which can just mace the horse away. Sometimes you'll keep this on the board against Virgilla. Against bad Virgilla players, they'll just bind the horse without any thought, and you're very happy. Against good Virgilla players, if they don't bind the horse, I mean, you get 10k shield, which is nice, but it's overall just a lot worse than trying to thin your deck out with the bunnies. Finally, 4 bunnies. This probably is the strongest card of the deck. This is a deck thin 1 most of the time, and as Perfect Sphere loves to call it, it's my avatar.
I can see the semblance.
But yeah, so all jokes aside, this card is the card you want to be spamming as much as possible. Turn 1 on grade 1, this just gets you deck thin, which means more chances of hitting triggers. Additionally, if you can use this as many times as possible, you're going to thin out your deck to the point where you only have triggers left in deck. And so when your opponent says a 2 to pass, you just say crit onto your Vanguard, and your opponent blows up. And it's great.
Yeah, it's crazy how you can like reuse this card. Because, well, if your opponent swings into it early game, you can just put it back to soul and then call it out. If you restand with this, which it's also a restand booster, by the way, it kills itself. So then you can, do the thing again.
And then the card of the day has shown us that we can call this thing back out from drop zone another time, which means that we get more copies of the bunny.
It's insane. And it's just too much synergy. Because even if it's just not, like, even if you're just deck thinning, right? If it's a random card like Tiskar, for example, that's still fine. If you put something like a Happy Toys, that works because you do want to collect your pieces. And then if it's like something like Twincast,
it's a free shield.
Also fine too. Can't say no. So it's just too strong, man. Honestly, card's good.
Yep. And then you're playing 2 Avarice Wrestlers. This card only came up the 1 time, and that was only because I felt like using it, not because I had to use it. This card just lets you thin 1 more order out of your deck at the cost of 1 card in hand. So you do have to be extremely careful with when you're actually using Avarice Wrestler. But the payoff for this card is extremely good, because Spoiler alert, I am playing four orders.
Crazy. I can't believe you're playing 4.
But when you can search the order off of the Adverse Wrestler, that means you thin 1 card of your deck, and then the order potentially thins 2 more cards of your deck. So for 1 booster or beat stick and a discard, you can thin 3 cards potentially, and that's an amazing value. That'd be something that even Premium would love if Premium could get that kind of level. We are playing 4 orders. Did you know that toys are made for children?
No.
The card is broke. Okay, this card is broken. I don't know who thought this card should exist. Top 5 for 2 toys. 1 to hand, 1 to soul is crazy. And then being able to recycle your toys is not fair. Even if you need 2 orders to tap, that's plenty. That means on turn 2, you can put 1. Turn 3, you can put another 1. On turn 4, you can start putting 2.
It's just too good. It's like torrential energy research, but better.
But way better.
But way better.
It also puts it into soul, which is important because then you can use that soul for other things like the bear. I've very often I've played the bear turn 2, soul blasted for the order, then put back one of the cards I soul blasted.
Nice.
So good order for our trigger lineup. Stock standard Velnot as our OT. The card just says win the game if you hit it, and if you don't hit it, you're going to hit it eventually. This is Heartluru. Just pray you don't deck yourself out when you hit the over trigger. The card just says restand or rearguard, and if you restand the dragon, that has 2 crit twice. If you restand the bear, which I think is way stronger than restanding the dragon, your opponent has to guard with 2 or more cards both times. Which just says eat 4 cards, but if they're using PGs to guard this attack, that means they have to guard with 3 cards per, which means they're guarding 6 cards overall for the bear.
Honestly, historically, I don't think there's a lot of standard decks that have seen success with the Red OT. This is like the one where it's like tried and true. Pretty much everyone agrees it's the Red OT.
The reason why Red OT is not as strong as it is in Standard compared to Premium is because Standard is a lot more grindy in a sense. And we also don't have access to 12 crits like we do in Premium. We only have access to 8 crits. So having the Blue OT, which is an extra crit, matters a lot more because that's an extra crit you can put onto your Vanguard when you hit it. The Red OT in this case of Heartluru is really strong because the rear guards have absolutely crazy effects after they get stood by Heartluru, which means that if you can put the Red OT on those rear guards, you get insane amounts of value. And if you hit it early, you're not that worried because Heartluru is an aggressive deck. You should be playing this deck as if you're trying to kill your opponent as fast as possible because, again, you're playing with a 2 or 3 card hand half the time. And because we are playing an aggressive deck, we are playing 8 crits. Nothing else to say. Hit crit, win. Yellows are good in this game.
Yellows are good.
We are playing 3 20k fronts, not into soul fronts because we have more than enough soul. So 20k fronts are just the best way to go. Don't play draws, you will deck yourself out. We have 2 restand heals. This meta favors restanders a lot. For example, we have Virgilla, we have Yugmashad for Balsagara, Heartluru as well. They all restand. I can name a couple more decks in the meta right now, but because there's so many restanders that you need to be worried about, this just gives you much better odds at guarding these attacks, especially the later attacks. Worst comes to worst, you just throw us a 10k. Heartluru has the luxury of having Block Horse as well to make up for the fact that we're losing 5k shield on 2 of our heal triggers.
Thanks for the quick profile. I think one thing that a lot of Heartluru players or people that are interested in the deck, the main one is like, okay, every card is basically important, right? How did you decide your tech slots? Why is it 1 Tiscar, 2 Avarice, and 3 Philias? I think that's the only like contestable cards in the list, really. And then maybe cut, like some people cut one of the Block Horse or one of the Bear.
For a cat, right?
Yes.
All right, so I chose Tiscar, as I mentioned, over the Ace unit, but I think Tiscar is your best flex slot card because it just gets you the extra card draw. It's shield value and card draw, and worst comes to worst, it's ride line fodder, which is extremely important for this deck. Philia, because you're an aggressive deck, you really want to have the booster. Keep in mind, there are very little games where I play this on turn 1 and I put it into soul. More often than not, especially if I'm going second, I'll only put this in soul on turn 2. Or if my opponent has no ability to retire the Philia, I'll put this in turn 3. It's very little times where I ever put this in on turn 1. And then Everest Wrestler are just extra copies of the order, as I mentioned before. The reason why I don't play a cat, 1, I was too lazy to find a cat. And 2, I think the card is horrendously bad.
Wow.
If you are burning up all your counterblasts without considering the next turn, you are making a mistake with playing the deck. You should be always considering your ability to play the next turn, especially because you're burning 2 CB on turn 3, 2 CB on turn 4, and 1 CB on turn 5, and then you deck out. There's never a world where you have more than 5 turns. So in that situation, how are you using the cat? Why are you using the cat? Right? If it means that you're getting an extra draw off the dragon, I think the card's terrible if that's the case. 20k shield is extremely nice, don't get me wrong, but how are you going to do it when 9 crumbs is behind your Vanguard and the shark's on the board? You can't remove 2, especially when the bear, when Titi, your starter, is bound. Suddenly you have no fodder for it, and it's just a 5k shield, and it's completely useless. Also, what do you mean that we're going to put away the shark? The best card in your deck? Or the second best card of your deck, and you're just going to remove it from game, basically? No thank you. So that's why I chose my specific tech choices for Heartluru.
Cool.
Alright, so let me start with my G-Zone before the actual deck itself, because the Grand Blue G-Zone is extremely easy to understand. So first things first, Bartholomew's the best finisher in the game, hands down. Triple door in every single attack means that your opponent has to yard like 15 attacks. Under triple door, you need 45 cards in hand. It's just not feasible. Foolish Burial times 5, best card in the game. Best setup stride in the game, sometimes you can kill with it. Did have to go into twice to kill. This card is phenomenal. Unfair. We have a restanding Vanguard. I don't know why Bushi printed 3 of the best strides in the game 3 years in a row for Grand Blue, but here we are. Again.
Are you complaining?
A little bit.
I don't mind if they hit though.
I would look. I've been explaining this vehemently. If you want to hit Grand Blue, you have to ban all 3 of these strides. These strides should not exist. In fact, there are a couple more strides you have to hit too. But for now, these are the 3 main strides you have to just get rid of. Only one of those because we only get 1 turn to play. By the way, yep. Gauche is only here for the shout matchup. If your opponent tries to do shout and messes up and is unable to kill you, if they give you 1 damage, you will gouge them to remove all the cards in your soul and just go back into full combo. If they don't give you the damage, realistically speaking, you'll have 1 card of Soul Blast and you can just go into any stride you like, but gouge is only there just in case you have to go into it against the shout mill combo. Just insurance. Balan Arena. This card can be anything. Don't waste your money on Balan Arena. I kid you not. Do not waste your money on this card.
You're telling me your flex slot is your flex spot? That's crazy.
Yeah, the card's cute. With this deck, though, it's very unusable because... Wow.
You're not going to second stride.
My opponents are going to PG my attacks anyways.
Yeah.
What do you mean that my card dies to PGs? Seabreeze, spoiler alert, I'm not playing Night Rose. I do need Seabreeze to be able to fight the Grade 2 game. You'll be surprised at how many people try to Grade 2 game you, which is not a lot, but when people recognize that you're not playing Night Rose, they will try to Grade 2 game you, and you have to be able to Seabreeze them. 1 Harmonics. You need your Garden Shield ticket.
Yeah.
It's good.
Self-ping, maybe?
Self-ping sometimes,
Yeah.
but Garden Shield ticket. Oh, also, sometimes, very specifically, you want one that does have the text in case the players to the side of you don't have the text and you have to hand over this Harmonics for the judge to read.
Yeah.
It happened to me in Mexico. That was hilarious.
That's funny.
1 Diobadiah. In case you get damage denied, you do this, you flip it.
It's free.
It's free. It's cute. Card's not that great, I'm going to be honest with you. But, hey, if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. I went to this once. 2 Orianas. Again, this card also needs to get banned. One of the best G guards in the game, period. It doesn't target next crit, so it's not even a perfect guard against DP. So your opponent can't guard break this. Sometimes your opponent just hits the Brankgate OT when they're at -1 crit. And they go to -2 crit. It unfortunately does happen that way.
Interesting.
But yeah, so this card is just bonkers. Oh, Counterblast is not a resource for Grand Blue. I don't think it is. 2 Negronoras. This card probably should also get hit in 1. I don't think it should ever be allowed at 2 copies because this card is just a superior PG. This card can also be any utility if you run Chappie the Ghosty. Fun fact, that is a combo I used to use a lot. Yeah, it's your G Flipper.
Yeah.
For Crest Rose, it's great, but not for my deck.
Yeah.
It's just a PG.
If you're playing normal Grand Blue, just note that some of the PGs don't work on this one because Some of the old JRPGs say on place from hand.
Yep.
Like the countercharge ones.
The countercharge ones, and some of them will say on when placed as well. So, notably, the V Ghost EPG doesn't work with Beatrice. Something of note. But
interesting.
Yeah. Make sure that you're playing PGs that activate with this. Namely, draw PGs.
Yeah.
Draw PGs work. One Negger mode. 30k shield, 30k shield. And cards... I don't get why this card is printed. There's no requirement other than Soul Blast 1 for the 15k shield. Oh, yeah, sorry, you do need 15 cards in Drop Zone. This is Grand Blue. If you don't have 15 cards in Drop Zone, I'm going to yell at you.
Yeah.
One Rack Dome, because your hand gets cloggy sometimes. Sometimes you want to try draw pieces. Card is okay. You only go into it sometimes when you know you're going to survive. More often than not, I will go into Corpse Dragon. This card just says on place mill 2. Especially when your opponent's not going for a kill turn, I will waste a G-Guard into Corpse Dragon and just tell my opponent, you're going to die next turn. This card is very, very good.
Is it necessary, bro?
Yes, actually. I think Corpse Dragon is a very big surprise for people because sometimes you don't have all the combo pieces and you can mill 2 and suddenly you're at the 10 cards in Drop Zone for Negarbone.
True. Yeah, you gotta hit your numbers, so that's something to consider.
Starter, it's Garnosh just to bait people into thinking you're playing Crest. Sometimes I even flip it up against my opponent so they think I'm playing Crest. We're not playing Crest. We're playing Magnolia.
Wow.
Magnolia is the most unfair deck in Premium. It has 3 infinite loops. Yeah, don't worry about that.
No.
So yes, you do need the original Magnolia because we are playing Daimainaru as a spoiler.
The card does require the original grade 3s.
One Flanger. This could be any. This is your flex slot. Ideally a grade 3, but this is your flex slot. I'm playing Flanger because I was sick and tired of some counterplay. And sometimes when you brick, you just have to go into a Flanger OTK combo.
Yep.
Strange Fruit Preparation.
Strange Fruit what?
Strange Fruit Preparation. This card is what allows you to combo your opponent's grade 2. So this is what enables the Sea Breeze Infinite Loop. And it lets you add a Blitz Order to hand, which is your Elementary Sanctitude. Bracing Angel Ladder, no words to say. It pairs with Flanger. It also gives your all rear guards resist. It's cards, bro.
Can't be bad.
Can't be bad. Except for Grand Blue bypasses it, so it must be bad. 2 Greed Shades.
Yes.
Part of the Infinite Loot combo. Card's great. Card just adds anything. Oh man, if you're missing Magnolia, just mill it out and then add it back to hand with Greed Shade.
Easy.
Extremely easy. This card also needs to get hit.
It's just a Grand Blue staple.
Columbard.
Also another Grand Blue staple.
You're telling me we have Foolish Burial and Monster Reborn on one card? This card should just get banned. The card is great.
But it's a hard once per turn. Clearly it's balanced.
Yeah, you only need to find one card in your deck and your deck pops off. This card just should not be allowed in the game anymore.
Yeah.
Especially because it's on place, not on place from hand. It's very easy to abuse this, especially during the battle phase if you haven't used it in your main phase.
Yep.
2 bonus bodies.
Yep.
Again, we are playing Magnolia, so we have the card that lets us call 2 cards every time it's placed. For some reason, this card does not say when placed from hand. This card just says when placed other than during the battle phase. Which means that you get to effectively call 2 cards with the card every time. This is what enables the Infinite Loop. Wow. If this card gets banned, this version of the Infinite Loop will not exist anymore.
Take notes, Bushiroad.
Hakusui, or Lechuga, is what people call it for some reason.
Boy.
I love this Lettuce Boy. He gives us infinite power on every single card we call, including the Vanguard.
Ooh, here's a caveat though. This card requires on place from hand.
So, do you remember how we have a card called Greed Shade?
Ooh.
This card can add any card to our hand. And notably as well, Bonus Body calls 2 cards, which means we can get 2 card draws for the price of 1.
Insane.
Which means that Greed Shade's cost of discarding a card from hand is no longer a cost. So that's how you can continuously add Hakusui to hand and continuously reuse the effect over and over again.
Crazy standard cards in 2025.
I know, right?
Half the deck is standard cards.
We have 16. I think it's like 16 standard cards in my deck.
Crazy.
This whole Infinite Loop comes from standard. Like, it's just because we have 1 card in Premium that can abuse it, or 2, that standard's just breaking this clan. Daimainaru, as we mentioned, only a 1-0. We don't really need more than that because we have Flanger in our deck. But this lets us attack from the back row anything targeted by this card. Which means we can get a lot of attacks to say the least. All 3 of our back row can attack, usually my plant tokens, my lovely plant tokens. But then also, when you use Bartholomew to recall Daimai in the back row, Daimai does not say when placed not during battle phase. It just says when placed, which means that you can call it to the back row and target itself to give itself back row attack. One Jesse the Ghosty, this is just my out to Honolly.
Yeah.
If you play it properly, you can use this on your 5th attack to countercharge the CB you're going to use for the attack, and suddenly you've used 0 CB for 5 attacks. And then your Vanguard is a 6th, and your opponent cries. 4 Negger Bones. This card's also integral to the Infinite Loop. It's not really necessary at 4 copies. In fact, I really could just cut this down to 1 if I wanted to. It's just, it gets you so much. It calls anything in your drop zone, namely Greed Shade, to re-add Magnolia. Also refills your deck. The card's great. And now for the card that Magic probably would have banned like 7 years ago, even before it was released. Navigator. Not once per turn. Doesn't have to rest itself. You only have to rest 2 cards to mill the top 5 cards of your deck. Wow. I don't know how this card got printed, especially as a common. This was a common in V series. Look at the commons we have now. They're just on attack, boost with a token unit, then you get to soul charge if you played an order this turn.
Wow.
We got 3 different conditions for a soul charge. But commons back in the day were just, oh yeah, there's no real cost to it, just mill 5. Just know that this came out in Night Rose, and this is the card that made Night Rose tier 1. Yeah, Navigator is completely broken, should not exist in the game. 3 V Cutlass, 1 original Cutlass. You only need 2 V Cutlass to perform the loop. You have no need for the third or the 4th V Cutlass. So might as well just play 1 original one, which lets you have a little bit more card draw. Card draw is always important in this deck, just because you need to get to the loop, as well as not die. People will try to kill you before you get to the loop.
Fair enough.
Also, it's just one of your sources of soul blasting to make it a lot easier. Otherwise, yeah, Cutlass is just a countercharge engine in this deck. 1 Quincy the Ghosty. This card says counterblast 1, stack your deck. Oftentimes, I'll just tell my opponent once I'm done with the infinite loop, I will now proceed to stack the deck. And then I'll stack the deck.
What?
I will now proceed to stack the deck. And then Quincy comes out and stacks my deck as a stand over trigger crit, and my opponent dies. Card should be banned. A lot of these cards should be banned. Sincere Yet.
This card should be banned.
This card should be banned. This card has an effect in drop zone while you have a Magnolia or Leonore Vanguard that's grade 3 or greater, and your opponent's grade 3 or greater. Just bot deck it. There is an additional effect that says something like
to 15k power.
Original 15k power. I don't care. This card just says you will never deck out. As long as you play this right, always just leave this as the top card of your deck, because it's the only card left in your deck. And you just continuously just mill it, put it back in your deck, mill it, put it back in your deck. You only need the 1 copy, unless Negerbone gets banned, in which case then you need all 4 copies. I do have my other FFRs, I just don't know where they are right now. Sorry, Narukami, Sleeve Tugging Bell exists. However, this card is used in this deck to put back your Cutlasses for the loop. This card just says, on place, you may put all your cards in your bind zone back into your drop zone. If you do, this card gets 5k for each card. Against Narukami, this card just says gain like 100k power or something. In my deck, this card says get infinite counterblast. The card got banned in standard, this card should be banned in premium. Enough said, this card's really good too.
It's crazy how this list has more banned cards in standard than premium.
That is...
In V too, because Flagger is banned in V.
Flagger is
so
banned
there's
in
more
V.
cards banned in V and standard than here in premium.
Alright, so we have the red over trigger. So this is
Right.
your Velnot. Thank you, Entropy.
You're welcome.
So this card, the reason why we're playing this specific art and not just a normal red over trigger is because I want to make my opponent misplay on my turn. So when I stack the over trigger, they'll assume I stacked the Stoke over trigger, and so when I don't draw 2 cards, they will realize, oh shoot, they're not playing the over trigger I was thinking. They'll look at their hand and realize they didn't guard properly.
You know, crazy enough, this actually happened at least 2 times at Worlds for me too.
It's happened 3 times at Mexico. Mexico players are really good players, and this card is very good at catching good players off guard. 3 draw triggers, 3 Sentinel draw triggers. Card's good.
PG good, draw card good.
PG good, draw card good. Also, can use this to superior PG with Negronora.
Yeah.
2 Mick the Ghosties. This card is part of the original infinite combo to give infinite power onto 4 units. But more importantly, stand trigger, and it can go back into the deck. The reason why going back in the deck is important is when you damage check your Quincy, you can stack double Mick instead. So no longer do you get the stand over trigger crit, but to make up for it, you get double stand trigger, and your opponent will most likely still just blow up after this.
Yeah.
So how it works is that you're going to call Bonus Body, Counter Boss 1, Soul Boss 1, call 2 Mick the Ghosties. You're going to have 2 cards in deck. You're going to activate a Cutlass to mill the top card of your deck and call on top of 1 Mick the Ghosty.
Yeah.
You're going to shuffle back the Mick the Ghosty, so you have 2 cards in deck still. But one of them is Mick the Ghosty, and then you call on top of the other one with any card in your hand, or if you can't afford to use the cards in your hand, retire Cutlass and the Mick the Ghosty with Jesse the Ghosty. It will then reshuffle the other Mick, so you have 3 cards in deck with 2 Micks, and then you call one more card, and then you look at your opponent in the eye and say, so top 3 cards are Stand, Negerbone, and then Negerbone at the bottom of the deck with the Sinceriat.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Sounds about right.
Yep. And then we are running, 4 heals. What a surprise.
Wow.
4 grade 3 heals. The card just says don't die. You need to live to stride turn, so this is pretty nice.
Good card is good.
Also stride fodder. Don't be like me and use it by mistake and look at your hand with no stride fodder.
Oh.
That happened to me in a practice game, and so I just stayed on grade 2 for a turn and then rode grade 3 and then strode afterwards. 4 Rough Seas Banshees. This card should also be banned. I don't know why this card hasn't been banned yet. This card is enabler for so many degenerate combos because this card just says into soul, draw a card. You get 2 different resources for the cost of 1 card. Yeah, you get 1 in hand, you get 1 in soul, which means you get to just infinite loop on everything. Card should be banned.
When did this card first come out? BTO 2?
This is BTO 2.
Is this the oldest card in your deck?
Fun fact, the original Cutlass came out in BTO 2 as well. I have the original printing too.
Oh, blast from the past. Damn.
Yep.
That's the point of the premium format, right? You could
Just-
deadass play something from day 1 of Vanguard, and
That is correct.
it's actually possible.
And then for the last... Oh, you know what? There was technically one more card in my deck I should mention. So the last 3 cards in my deck, we have 2 Stride Fodder crits. This is pretty stock standard.
Yeah.
Having Stride Fodder. And then we have the Elementaria.
Of course, you had to flex after you top day 1 already.
Wait, no, this card is part of the infinite combo.
Yeah.
You actually can't use this card to guard. If you do, you're going to take another, it's going to take so long to do the combo that's just not worth it.
I mean, there are matchups that straight up try to high roll and kill you when you're grade 2, right? So
There are
if you just
some.
use a sank to out it, you win by default. So
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to use a Sanctitude, and you can just search this as well. Again, mill your deck, Greed Shade, it's so strong.
why is everything free? Why is everything searchable, bro?
Well, because this is Grand Blue. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is my list that I brought to Mexico.
That's quite a bit. Of course, if you want more details, DM him on Twitter. He's pretty active.
I'm
Trying
not-
to get more active there.
I'm not great at messages on Twitter. Feel free to DM me. I'm doing my best to keep track of all the messages at this point.
What's your most memorable game, or what's your highlights from Mexico?
Oh, so I have... Standard was my round 3 loss against Leonorn because the luck went both our ways, but just went slightly into the Leonorn's favor. They resolved 3 heals and hit a offensive overtrigger on their final turn, and I hit 4 heals. They all resolved, by the way.
Crazy.
So we were playing a game where I was on turn 4 Persona Ride, and I had 1 damage and he had 0.
No idea how that happened.
It was great. We had a fun time. I lost, but it was okay. And then premium, I think the most memorable match was probably the top 4 match where I lost because I bricked really hard and I just didn't have the ability to actually go for the kill. He was running a deck to try to counter my deck. He was playing Narcom with Sharov. Sharov is a very good promo to try to out all of the loop decks that try to stack their deck. So Fenrir OTK, the Magnolia loop, Flanger OTK, it's meant to try to out those decks, and it just so happened to work in his favor that day. The 1 in 100 odds, and he got it. So I'm a little annoyed that I lost that match, but Alejandro was shout out to Alejandro, by the way. That guy is so lovely and made sure my entire stay in Mexico was great, and because of that, I recommend going to Mexico just because the community there is lovely. They are amazing people.
Nice. I've never been, so it's cool that you were able to make the trip. and share your experience. Yeah, I mean, another big question, since you got a second in standard and you got third in premium, that means you have an invite for both the standard format and the premium format, which I think you're the first one to do that, at least for this year's BCS circuit. What's your thought process here?
Unfortunately, I am going to go for the premium format because the Victor is a unique art only to English. But also, I am just a premium player. As you saw, I basically net decked the Heartluru list. Again, shout out to Lobo again. All credits to him for the deck list. But I just don't really enjoy playing standard that much myself. I'm much more of a premium enjoyer. So I would like to go to premium, and I have already declared my decision to Bushiroad about that.
Nice.
So, 4th place. I don't remember your name at all. But congratulations on invite to standard. And I hope to see you there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super cool that you were able to have a choice, because that's not an opportunity that a lot of players have, and you perform like pretty crazy back to back. I think you're like on a 3-event top streak actually, because you also topped Toronto, which was like right before this. So that's pretty insane.
All good things will come to an end. There is a ban list in December, and we'll see what gets hit there.
We will see. I don't think they're gonna ban like 16 cards, which is like 16 bannable cards here. So
we'll see. There's even more cards that are not in my list that I think should get banned too, but we won't go there.
That's cool. Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to share about your prep work, your play during the days? Anything like particularly unique or insightful that people should consider?
So because I was playing a loop deck with premium, the main thing that you should try to get used to when doing loop decks is just going through the motion and getting the muscle memory in you. Because 10 rounds, 11 rounds, that's a lot of rounds to be playing, and you can't really afford to mess up your loop, because when you mess up, you're going to feel bad, and then your opponent's going to have the chance to win. So you have to get used to just performing the loop over and over and over again. However, for standard, I am going to pull the deck list because I played the deck in a very, very weird format. A very, very weird way. So first things first, with the bunnies. I mentioned before that you want to use the bunnies as many times as possible. And then I mentioned that the horse is really bad. More games than not, I was looking to just turn 3, use Heartluru skill, play double bunny. If I wasn't at under 15 cards in deck by the time I hit turn 4, I've already messed up the game state somehow. Sometimes you don't see the bunny early, it is what it is, but if you ever go bunny and you see bunny, you put bunny into soul. And your goal is to just continuously loop 2 or 3 bunnies every turn.
Yeah.
This wasn't like the most insane play I did when I was in Mexico. Some people can attest to it.
What was the most insane play?
I used the shark like multiple times in a row against players. More often than not, turn 4, I was playing shark over the bear.
Interesting. Why?
So, notably is that the shark eats up one of the intercepts, which is a 5k, and then it also attacks your opponent. And on turn 4, you're usually swinging with a Persona Ride 35k with this attack. 35k demands 25k from my opponent's hand. 25k is either the restand heal trigger, which in that case, you're pretty happy because you're not using it on the dragon, or it eats up a 20k and a 5k. That's notable because that's 2 cards from your opponent's hand. The bear would have also eaten 2 cards from your opponent's hand.
True.
Yes, it wouldn't have been 2 triggers per se, but you don't mind that it's not 2 triggers because the card advantage is more important than the card quality in your opponent's hand. If we can just get rid of as many cards from our opponent's hand, it doesn't matter what they're keeping in their hand. But more importantly, if you do care about card quality, your opponent gives 2 triggers away, and it's perfect shield against the bear. They have the 5k left in hand to try to kill you with. Maybe that's a Yugma shot. When the shark attacks and it's swinging for 35k, sometimes 40k, your opponent looks at you and says, okay, I need to guard with 5ks. They think to themselves, oh, I need to intercept. But their intercept's dead. Then, with their intercept dead, they look at you and say, oh, great, what do I do? Do I overguard this attack and then have to try to guard the dragon swing after overguarding, or do I take this attack? Which usually, if it has a crit, I'll just put the crit onto this side, and they have to guard this attack, right? So it just puts a lot more pressure on my opponent, knowing that they've already lost the attacker on the board, and they have to guard this attack afterwards.
That's very cool. To be honest, I haven't really dug deep into a lot of deck profiles for Heartluru, but I really like how you laid out the theory and the logic checks out. Yeah. It's very cool. And also, I think something I appreciate is that your deck list is very in line with your playstyle as well and your approach to the game. I think there's a lot of topping Heartluru lists, a lot of topping Vergila lists, a lot of topping Bav lists as well, or so on and so forth. But I think deck building is still, really important in this game. And I really like, for example, you prefer the bunny over the block horse. So your plays are going to be slightly different. And you like the shark over the bear. So that's why your list is going to be, more catered towards that. You don't think the game is going to go long enough because you're spamming the bunny. So that's why you don't even bother playing the countercharger. And instead you're budgeting your counterblast more effectively. I think that's really cool, to be honest. So I really appreciate you sharing this with everyone. Yeah. So one last question since I have you here.
All right.
And honestly, we're almost at the 1 hour mark, which is crazy. I don't know if you noticed, but
I did not notice at all.
Yeah, no. What is the one thing that you think you did differently over the last few events compared to before that moved you up a notch, so to speak? Because you've topped before as well. I've seen you do top 8s. It's really hard to do top 4s consistently because at the end of the game, there is variance. Did anything in particular click?
Well, so for premium, unfortunately, no, not really. Last BCS where I was top 8, I fought 2 different Gordoras playing as Crestus Blue, which is probably my worst matchup in the world. But for premium, it's more just being way more creative in your deck building. I think your best bet in premium is to try play a deck a little bit differently from the standard to try to throw your opponent off tempo, because a lot of players in this format already know the matchups to heart. Like, I know almost every single deck in the game for premium, and that's why it's very important for you to have your 1 or 2 slightly different cards or maybe slightly different plays from the normal to be able to catch your opponent off guard. With my deck specifically, my deck is built around the idea that most opponents will try to damage deny Grand Blue, because Grand Blue's turn 2, if they just ride Columbard and you give them that 1 damage, you're looking at the Ghost Ship and you're staring at 24k beat stick that draws you a card. Suddenly that 1 CB your opponent gave you, you can turn that into an extra card in hand in addition to having an extra beat stick on the board for that 1 turn. And so a lot of the top players understand this theory and will try to damage deny Grand Blue, and my deck preys on that preconception. For standard, I'm going to be honest with you, just play a good deck and practice a lot with the deck. I didn't get a lot of practice with Heartluru, but Heartluru plays very similarly to how I play Silverthorns in Premium, and so I could understand the theory and the notion behind how you play pretty quickly, and I just applied that knowledge to the deck itself. But for players who if you guys don't have the prior premium knowledge, you should look to try to find what you're doing a lot when playing the deck and trying to see if you can try to adjust the deck to match that playstyle. Like, I'm using the Shark a lot, so I'm trying my best not to discard orders because the Bear's Soul Blast is extremely painful. But maybe you're playing Heartluru and you're finding that you're barely using the Shark because your opponents are phantoming the front row a lot. In that situation, maybe then you want to be discarding the orders a lot more, because that way you can just slam the Bear Soul Blast to add it back to hand and you're not losing any resources per se.
Nice. Yeah, no, I agree, and that, you make a really strong point. It being able to understand the tactics involved, like situationally, if your opponent doesn't have front row, what do you do? If your opponent does, what do you do? If your opponent gives you CB, what do you do? If your opponent doesn't give you CB, what do you do? And then also challenging the meta, right? Because the meta is meta in the first place, but that doesn't mean you have to follow it. There is innovation, and I think you're one of the biggest innovators in the community. So I'm really lucky to have you in Toronto in so close proximity, because I learned a lot from you. So I appreciate it.
I'm always glad I can help if possible.
Thank you for your time. It's going to be a long-ass video, but I think there's a lot of gold in here that will help a lot of players improve their game. At least for me as well. There's definitely some things that are new that clicked, and I hope I could do better at my next event too.
You're probably better than me at standard. Don't get me wrong. But thank you so much for having me. please like and subscribe. As well as if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I will be checking the video quite often. I will respond to any questions that you guys have, whether it's about the deck lists, whether it's about how the loop functions. Commander Jaime does have a video on how the loop works, so you can go check that out. As well as go to Mexico if you're willing to travel. Mexico is amazing. So
here's one last thing. If people watching this video wants to meet you in person, which other events will you be at this year?
This year I'm going to Vancouver for Standard and Shadowverse, and then I'm be going to Toronto because this is my hometown, and we'll be going for Shadowverse and Premium. And then you'll see me at Worlds.
Woohoo! All right, awesome, man. Well, thank you so much again. Hopefully you keep it up. And I'm excited to see what kind of degeneracy you'll bring to Worlds, honestly, because that is going to be the highlight.
All right. Thank you so much.
See you.
All right.